As a marine educator, every beach walk turns into a discovery. I honestly can't help it. Come see what we find.
This beach is one of my absolute favorite beaches. It is on the Gulf Coast. It's absolutely breathtaking. Check this out. It looks like a jellyfish. But it's not. It is actually a colony of animals that work together to function as one. It's a Portuguese man of war. They spend their days floating on the surface. You can see that this is really good. It's filled with air. The wind will blow them across the surface of the water, and then those tentacles will hang down and be able to catch their food.
The tentacles can sting even when washed up on shore.
See if I can get my finger in there without actually touching it. Okay, so that's the tentacle. And they can stretch out to 150 feet in the water, but on land they kind of curl up, but you still want to be careful. We'll leave it here, tide will bring it back, and it'll keep on floating.
Check out these patterns in the sand. Yeah, some of them look like birds, right? But then there's other ones. So let's follow them. Oh, there's a hole. So this tells us that there is something living under there and brewing. And if you keep following them, you can find that they usually have a second entrance. They are ghost crabs, so they scurry on the sand and then they burrow and they are able to live underneath and tunnel underneath, and it's so cool because sometimes they'll peek out and you can see them scurrying across. This one is huge. I'm gonna put my finger to the side so you can see how huge it is. Look at that. Oh, you know, it looks kind of like there's nothing going on. If you look closer, you'll see that there is actually a lot of life happening right under our feet. This looks like ordinary beach sand, right? Well, each beach actually has a unique recipe of sand, its own unique version. That's because it all depends on what it's made of and where it's coming from. So sand actually goes through quite a journey. You can see those differences in the sand from different beaches when you compare them side by side. Most sand starts as something larger, like rocks or shells. And over time, it breaks down into these smaller and smaller bits. It washes away into rivers that lead to the ocean, and they build up. This sand is made up of mostly white grains of quartz mineral, and that's from the Appalachian Mountains. The sand is so soft. It's cool to walk on. And it actually has this adorable little squeak when you walk on dry sand. So each beach has its own beautiful fingerprint of sand. This watercolor is gorgeous, right? Why is water different colors depending on the beach that you go to or the time of day? So take a look, because it's this incredible interaction of light and what's in the water, what's on the bottom. So you can see right away there's two different colors of water here, right? We've got the one that's up close, that's lighter, and then towards the horizon, it's darker. So that shows you the depth. So as the water gets deeper, it gets bluer and darker.
this light color sand is reflecting that light, and it's enhancing the lightness of the water. And then you've got stuff in the water too. So sediments and algae, and it's the wind and the waves, the currents that can all mix stuff up in the water, and it changes how light passes through. All interacting with each other, making what we see. Wow.
Oh, look at the dolphins offshore. One of the coolest parts of beach walks is never knowing what's going to appear. These shells were actually someone's home. What's incredible is that these shells were made by living animals. So they're called mollusks, like snails and clams, and they have soft bodies. So they need a way to protect themselves. They build these shells using minerals from the ocean. Bit by bit, spiral by spiral, the shell grows with them and they never leave it. You're kind of looking at a piece of history here, because each shell gives a record of what it's been through. And it sometimes has scars. Have you ever found one that has a hole? Those holes are actually from other predator snails that have a drill, and they drill into the shell and eat the meat. And so that tells you how that shell died. Now, what's really incredible is that these shells keep on giving, because they can be homes for other creatures like hermit crabs, and they can also become a part of the sand. So over time, they'll wear down and break down and become smaller pieces that form the sand. So the next time you pick up a shell, you're actually holding a piece of ocean history. Isn't a mollusk shell. This is actually the skeleton of a sand dollar, and it's more closely related to sea stars than clams. These sand dunes behind me are not just for decoration. Those grasses are doing something amazing. They are holding the sand in place, and it's actually keeping the beach stronger. When a storm comes in, those roots hold the sand in place, absorbing wave energy and protecting everything behind them. That's why it's so important to stay off of those dunes, because any sort of steps in those can loosen the roots and can loosen the sand. So I'm staying clear of those dunes, and we're just observing this ecosystem of grasses and these plants that are adapted to live right by the beach. They are doing something pretty special. The Florida Panhandle is honestly one of the most beautiful classrooms I've ever walked through. Which discovery surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. And if you have an ocean question you've been sitting on, this is a great place to ask it. See you on the beach.